So what do we have here? We have my vacuum pump, and what are we looking at? We are looking at my vacuum pump oil. So it's the end of the night. I've been home several hours and I'm just doing prep for the next day, and one of my chores is changing vacuum pump oil at the end of the night. But this one is unusually filthy. What is that white stuff at the bottom of the oil that you see? This is your vacuum pump oil. That's water, nearly pure water. That came out of a Toyota that I released a video on earlier today with the God damn, my mouth ain't working today. Corroded condenser is the word I'm looking for, with the aluminum that was really heavily oxidized. It only had vapor pressure amount of refrigerant in the system, but when I pull a vacuum on it, this is what happened to my vacuum pump oil. It looked like mayonnaise earlier. It's about 10:30, 11:30 at night, and I'm about to change the oil, get ready for the next day. But this is what it looked like immediately after doing that Toyota Tundra 1997. So that'll get changed out, and as you can see, if I move it, you can see the water moving in the bottom. And that's what happens. And this is the, for you who don't know, this is the Fieldpiece vacuum pump. And yeah, it gets used. It gets used a lot. This is the VP 85. Very easy. There's no reason why you can't change your oil every night when you get home, or if you're on the shop after you did 5 or 6 cars or something like that, or one car like this. What happened in this situation was I started losing vacuum. You know, trying to obtain a low vacuum, it would not go down all the way. And but that vehicle was getting the condenser changed, and so I wasn't trying to pull a deep vacuum on this vehicle that I was doing, that this happened on. I was only trying to get low enough so I could fill it up for testing, because the condenser needed to be replaced. But I did not want to just stop there. I wanted to look further and look for more problems. So I filled the system up for testing the entire system to make sure electrically and mechanically operated properly before replacing the condenser. So that was the only reason I did that. Then I picked up this vacuum pump and I went over to the customer's other car that was a Porsche, and and it was also very low, but he just had an engine work done, and the shop released the refrigerant into the atmosphere and replaced engine parts and some coolant hoses. And so I came in to fill it up, and I could not pull a vacuum. The vacuum just wouldn't barely go down to like 4,000, 3,000. And it was because this oil was this contaminated. And I looked down there and I seen this in my vacuum pump oil, and I go, wait a minute. I started out this morning with clean oil that I changed from last night, and this happened on one car. And so then I brought out my other big vacuum pump and I hooked it up, and immediately the vacuum went right down. But it was one car did that. That was one wet car. So yeah, it's important to change your vacuum pump oil, and it really affects your vacuum. All right, see you guys later.